Thank you for tuning into Radicards.com. In this episode, Brian Hayes of Linguist Sports Cards is joining us to talk about a specific card. He's going to talk about a card. I'm going to talk about a card. We're going to kind of go back and forth. And the way we're going to talk about this time is we're going to actually feature the card right into the video so that you can enjoy the card as we talk about it instead of us holding the card up in front of the camera. So I hope you enjoy this process and hope you enjoy the video. So Brian, why don't you take it away with the card that you brought today?
Sure, Patrick. So the card that I have is a basketball card. It's 98-99 Fleer Brilliance, and it's a gold of David Robinson. This card is numbered out of 99. And I think this is a great card for a few reasons. One, I was a huge David Robinson fan, first of all. So anytime I can pick up a card of his, especially from the 90s, it really takes me back to my youth, to my younger card collecting days. I was really a big fan of David Robinson throughout the 90s, but especially as the decade wore on. And he sort of transitioned away from being the man on the team to when they brought in Tim Duncan, the Spurs. I think he passed that torch very gracefully to Tim Duncan. And when this card came out, 98-99, that season, actually that was the lockout season there in 99. Dave Robinson, I just always thought he was very graceful, both on the court but also off the court, and I always really respected him for how he carried himself. And I saw this card recently. It's a card from the 90s, serial numbered less than 100, so pretty rare. But I think this set it's a little bit underrated because so often the 24 karat gold cards are, they have much more of a hobby impact, and sometimes just these regular golds out of 99, they tend to get overlooked a little bit. I think they're slightly undervalued. They're still quite rare, but they just, when the comparison is made between these out of 99 and the 24 karat gold numbered out of 24, it's easy to overlook this version. And I think that's I kind of look for cards like that sometimes. Some cards that are still rare but are a little bit overlooked. I think you can get some good deals on them. It sort of reminds me, thinking of other sports like Crusades. You've got like in football and baseball, you've got the Red Crusades numbered out of 25. Then you got the purples numbered out of 100. This is sort of, in my mind, sort of akin to like a purple Crusade numbered out of 99, real close to being numbered out of 100. It's sort of in that same realm of scarcity, and just for all those reasons, I think this is an interesting card. It's a special card because I really like the player, and I feel like I really got a good deal on it when I purchased it.
Yeah, you bring up a good point that the gold version is overlooked because there's that more scarcer 24K gold parallel number to 24.
Yep.
And the Donner's Crusade stuff is, that stuff's gnarly. Like, it's gnarly because no matter what color you get in that set, they can be very expensive. Green Griffey Jeter can be $400, $500, $600, whereas purple and red obviously are going to fetch much, much more. Whereas with Fleer Brilliance, you've got the base card, the blue, the gold number to 99, and the 24 karat gold number to 24. And 24 karat gold number to 24 is significantly more desirable for a couple of different reasons. Obviously, the print run being the 24, but also the card design itself has that hollow foil finish, right? Whereas the base gold is flat. It's just not as attractive. It's got the hollow foil print on the nameplate. That's what kind of brings the card out a bit. I really appreciate that. They're great looking cards either way. They're flat finish, so just, from a design perspective, they kind of miss that mark a little bit. But yes, they do have it going for them is the print run of 99. And I like these cards, even though they are overlooked because of that reason. Even the blues are nice looking, but again, no serial number there,
Right.
And so it's a great looking set, and I like that they kept the design consistent with that of the baseball market in the basketball market. They're the same design. Every now and then you'll see, Topps used to do this, Score did this for a while. The same year design doesn't overlap from sport to sport,
Right.
And so it's nice to see that this particular release was true to form across the board with basketball and baseball.
It was also the same in football as well. There's 98 Flair Brilliance football.
Right.
Same thing, same design, 24 karat gold numbered out of 24, and then the gold's out of 99. Same idea. So,
Right.
yeah,
And
Flair was very consistent.
I like that, because it allows me to identify the card quickly, no matter what sport the card is from. And so
Yeah,
that allows me to have recall faster. And so from a like psychological standpoint, I can appreciate consistency in design across the board, right? And so that's a really nice thing to have. Now, something about David Robinson that going to the player is that in his Hoops rookie card, right? That was the one that growing up was like, oh man, the Hoops rookie card, David Robinson, with him holding a jersey was the big card to have. And it
yeah,
wasn't until years and years later that I finally acquired my first David Robinson rookie card. Uh, I always looked up to him too as one of those like role models for other young players coming up in the '90s.
yeah,
And Tim Duncan is perfectly poised in that to be that person to take Robinson on as a role model. You would probably know more about the transition than I would, but I can certainly at least feel partially confident in assuming that transition was a smooth one because Robinson I always looked up to as one of those guys that would be a leader in the category of as in his craft.
yeah. Absolutely. I mean, the Spurs run over the last 2 decades now has just been amazing, just year after year in the playoffs, and it really started, under David Robinson, and a lot of times when you've got one superstar and then another one comes in, there's some sort of tension there. Maybe most famously with the Lakers with Kobe and Shaq, but with the Spurs, that transition from Duncan to Robinson it went about as smooth as really any sort of transition like this has happened, at least in my lifetime that I can remember. I mean, the Spurs won the NBA title in '99, and then again in 2003, and that was Robinson's last year in 2003. So he basically walked off the court as an NBA champion and retired.
Mhm.
Just a great transition. I can remember quite fondly those days. Once again. Those were like my teenage years, my early 20s. It really brings me back to those times. I really liked that era of the NBA, and just really, really like David Robinson. And then just for all these reasons that we've mentioned, just a great player and, a great person as well.
Yeah, solid card. A great choice for today's conversation. I'm glad you brought that on in today. Good stuff. Thank you for sharing, Brian. I really appreciate that, bud.
Sure.
All right, now we're going to change it up a little bit and move to baseball. And I'm going to talk about A.J. Burnett and his card from 1999 Fleer Brilliance Gold, number to 99, his rookie card from that set. So it's very similar to the basketball market, as you'll see. So let's get right into it here. Now, A.J. Burnett was a stellar pitcher, and he came up with the Florida Marlins in 1999. And he remained there until 2006 when he went to the Toronto Blue Jays. Spent some years with the Yankees, and on which he was part of the World Series championship team in 2009, and then retired with Pittsburgh Pirates for a total of 17-year career. One-time All-Star, so he was shuffled around a bit, and actually he spent he had one small stint with the Philadelphia Phillies in 2014. He's now retired, but I remember in 1999. And actually, I'd have to take that back. I was out of the hobby during those years, but when I came back into the hobby, he was, in 2003, he was one of those guys I heard in conversations, and he seemed like a pretty dominant pitcher at the time. Although in '03 his ERA was above 4, almost a 5, so I can't really subscribe to the fact that was dominant. But then again, you know. He only played in 4 games that year, so it was kind of a slim year for him. Whatever the case is, that I remember hearing about him in conversations and thinking, well, I should probably get something of him, some rookie card. And I acquired this 1999 Fleer Brilliance Gold, within the last 2 or 3 years, and it was relatively inexpensive. I remember, and it's a high grade BGS 9.5. I really like these cards a lot. I think it's a great young shot of A.J. Burnett in that classic Florida Marlins teal color. that I really like. I think it's just a great, and this scan kind of brings out that hollow foil nameplate that we're talking about with the David Robinson card. Just a great card. It's a classic card, and I really dig the young photo of AJ Burnett. And although I didn't really follow the player throughout his career, just knew he was a dominant pitcher when he came up. I wanted to get something, and this is a good representation of his rookie cards.
It's really nice. So does he have cards prior to 1999, or was this the first year that he had like mainstream cards?
So that's a good question because a lot of these guys come up in Bowman products long before their rookie year, right? And so the answer to that, if you look at the mainstream stuff, like the licensed stuff, the non-minor league, the answer to that is no, he doesn't have anything prior to 99. Now, he does have a best card from 98, but that falls under the minor league category. So in 99, when you see him on mainstream cardboard, those are his rookie cards. And so I actually like it when I see that in the hobby because it takes confusion out of collecting. You know that that card, his rookie year card, is his rookie card. So I actually really appreciate the fact that I'm not going to be able to find him and stuff prior that's not mainstream, MLB and MLBPA licensed, right? It's not pre-rookie year stuff. I like the ease of locating his rookie cards. If it's 99, it's his rookie card and his rookie year card.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. I think I do like the red as well that's on the card where it says rookie. Mm-hmm. It's just a little bit different color. I think it contrasts nicely with the gold finish. I really like the design of these cards all the way around. Sometimes when you have a nice design and for whatever reason there's extra lettering on there, sometimes it can sort of hinder the overall appearance of the card. But in this case, I really like that it's very noticeable rookie, but it doesn't detract from the overall design of the card. It's a winner all the way around.
Yeah, you bring up the rookie logo on these cards. I in some strange way, it kind of detracts from the overall appearance because red over gold is in a way kind of it like clashes a little bit. I've kind of thought that. When I see these on the 24 karat gold, it's a little better. But I do like that there's something else on the card other than Fleer Brilliance just below it, right?
Yeah.
I think that it's a bit invasive. I think the rookie logo could be a little bit smaller and still have that impact. But I do appreciate that this is identifying the card as, in fact, a rookie card. And it's very unique. These cards are somewhat hard to scan because they're flat. They're flat foil. Flat foil is always difficult to scan. So you'll see a bit of dusting on this card, but in fact the card's very clean, right? That's just what the appearance that what happens when you scan. You're going to see that flat foil really kind of come out with all the little tiny imperfections and things in flat foil. It's just the way it is, right? But I like the appearance of the big B in the background. I always thought that was cool. It's like simple but classy, right?
Yeah.
You'll see that across the board with this product in 1998-99 with that. That was that 1 year block where these were released. I like the big B in the background. I always thought that was a really cool, very simple design feature on these cards that kind of like subtly but sternly lets you know of the importance of the product in a way. It like represents the product very, very almost powerfully, I would say. I really appreciate that. It's a good set. And like to your point again, going back to it's the golds are underrated in a way.
Yeah, I think they're. I was just actually looking at the. So I know a little bit more about the Robinson because I was doing some research on that, and there's lots of Hall of Famers in the gold version. Numbered out of 99, so quite rare that can be had, for like less than like $100, and like these are like Hall of Fame players. A pretty rare card from the 90s. It's just, I think they're a great value. They're a great alternative to the 24 karat gold, which, as you were alluding to, can be quite expensive. Mm-hmm. These cards are right there with them, and a great value in a lot of cases.
Yeah, it's interesting. You can get, if you're not well, you're not looking to spend an arm and a leg on the 24 karat gold, this is a great alternative.
Yep,
Right?
absolutely.
If you don't want to go Crusade red and you want to just have a Crusade, the greens are great alternatives. And the
Yeah,
greens are all over the board with prices, but you can usually get a Hall of Famer for under 100 in the green category. So
yeah,
here with the golds, to your point, even in basketball, you can snag a Hall of Famer for less than $100, which I like.
yeah,
Because I like that this product offers a variety of different versions of the card to allow for people with different purchasing power levels to enter the market and acquire an example, a parallel of some capacity. Just because they can't get the best one doesn't mean they have to settle for a base card. They have the blues, which are very affordable, and the slightly more rare and slightly more desirable golds, which are, you know, uh, in my honest opinion, will never top the sales of the 24 karat golds for obvious reasons,
yeah.
but still great cards. So good stuff. Do you have any final thoughts, Brian?
No, sir, not tonight.
Okay, all right. So that's it. That's our conversation about 1999 Fleer Brilliance, the gold parallel number to 99 for obviously the David Robinson in the basketball market and AJ Burnett in the baseball market. Thank you for tuning in to Radicards.com. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you, Brian Hayes of Lingo Sports Cards, for joining us today. And until next time, enjoy collecting. If you like this content, please subscribe. Thank you. Enjoy collecting.